On Larry King Now, Mandy Moore.
The show has taken on a life of its own. It's again, something none of us expected. It continues.
What makes it a hit?
I don't think you can really discount timing. I think the world was really hungry for a show like this right now. I found it unbelievably difficult to sort of start the machine back up again. And I had failed project after failed project and nothing coming to fruition until This Is Us.
Did you think of quitting?
I did. And there's one question in particular, which is how Jack dies.
Because the viewers are obsessed with how
They're really obsessed with that particular
detail. Do you know how he died?
Yes.
Falling off a ladder. That's unbelievable.
I know.
Boy, she revealed it tonight.
You guys, it was so tragic.
Painting his own house.
Yeah.
Plus,
I do want to make more music. I think maybe in the next year or so, I'll find my way back to the studio.
All next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our guest today is Golden Globe-nominated actress, chart-topping musician, and award-winning singer, Mandy Moore. Mandy stars as Rebecca on the breakout ensemble drama This Is Us. The first season is available on NBC.com. She's also the voice of Rapunzel in Disney's Tangled franchise, including Tangled, the series on the Disney Channel, and she's in a very different kind of project, a shark thriller called 47 Meters Down, and that is in theaters now, and I thank you for coming.
Thank you.
First Golden Globe nomination, right?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't get it, but what was it like to get the nomination?
Pretty mind-boggling. We were sort of 10 episodes in on the first season of This Is Us, so to say it was unexpected is an understatement. None of us expected to get any sort of recognition. It's mind-boggling.
Now you'll get an Emmy that maybe.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, but you'll make a good acceptance speech because of all you've been through.
Oh, that makes me nervous just to think about.
Okay, This Is Us. It's turned into a massive hit for NBC.
Sure.
How'd you get it? What do you make of it?
Ooh. You know, it sort of came at a time in my life where I had done 3 failed television pilots that hadn't gotten picked up and made it to series. And I remember reading this script thinking, this is really special. This feels different. It feels really elevated and nuanced for network television. But the audition process was much like any other audition process. I threw my name in the ring, and then I didn't hear for probably 6 weeks until they came back to us and said, okay, we want you to have a chemistry read. We're gonna bring in a couple of men and a couple of women.
A chemistry read?
A chemistry read. So I ended up going into a room and I read with Milo Ventimiglia, who ended up getting cast as my husband, Jack. But it was he was the only man I read with. There were several other young gentlemen there. Didn't get to read with any of them. So I felt like that was a fairly good sign, because the intel that I had heard going in was that Milo was the guy to beat. So considering he was the only guy I read with, I felt pretty solid about it. But the show has taken on a life of its own. It's again, something none of us expected. And it continues.
What makes it a hit?
You know, I think the writing is superb. It's far and away just the most incredible project I've been lucky enough to be a part of. But I don't think you can really discount timing. I think the world was really hungry for a show like this right now. I think it's cathartic entertainment. I think it's overwhelmingly hopeful. And I think these characters are genuinely good people. It's not sort of the anti-heroes that we've been seeing in, popular shows on cable and whatnot over the past couple of years.
But you need plot every week, don't you?
Well, the conceit of the show is, yes, it's a big ensemble, and Milo and I play the parents, so all of our stories are sort of told in flashback. And then you see our kids grown up present day and sort of the challenges and obstacles that they're facing in their lives.
The kids are white and an adopted black.
Yes, we have an adopted child. And I'm the only actor that sort of exists in both worlds. So I play the character from 23 to 66. So I play the character in the flashbacks, and then I also play her present day. So I have to go through
the makeup for 66.
4 hours of prosthetics. Just about every episode.
How do you look at 66?
Pretty good. I only hope that I can age that well. I hope time will be kind to me.
You said before the show premiered, the dream was to find something that would allow me to be creative and flex my muscles, but to continue to live the quiet life I've been lucky enough to establish. Has that been true?
Yes, it has been.
Why do you want to lead so much a private life?
I value my privacy and my personal life, and I think although I started at a young age, I started in the music industry when I was 15, my career sort of followed a path that allowed me to still sort of have some anonymity. People let me be a normal teenager, and that's kind of what I've grown accustomed to. So I'm slightly nervous for life to change in any respect. Like I have the best of both worlds. I'm able to do my job, and people allow me that, but I still can, you know, live.
You're single?
No, I have a boyfriend.
A boyfriend? Is he in the business?
He is. He's a musician. So he understands my world.
Lives in the valley?
No, he doesn't live in the valley.
You've referred to the experience of making This Is Us as the greatest year of your life. Why?
It has been. It's the most creatively fulfilling job I've ever had. It's the best job I've had. Being in this industry for, I don't know, 18 years now, it's the best job I've ever had.
Because?
I think it's a confluence of the material, the people I get to work with, the fact that it shoots in Los Angeles, the reception that the project has received. Like, I mean, we have people coming up to us every day, all of us. We're like on a massive text chain, the whole cast and our creator. And we're constantly sharing stories of the people we meet in our day-to-day lives who've really been affected by the show and the writing and the stories that we're telling.
Your character?
She's a mother. She is fiercely loving and protective of her family, but she's not without faults, and I love that. She's not June Cleaver. She's fallible, she's human, and she's made some somewhat unpopular choices with some of the viewers. Definitely make sure to tell me that.
What can you tell me about season 2?
Nothing.
Why? I don't understand this.
I know.
Why is every television show that's successful that goes into another season can't say a word?
Everything is so buttoned up. I think with our show in particular, there are so many timelines and stories that we're jumping around to. And there's one question in particular, which is how Jack dies.
Jack dies.
He does die.
But
he's not alive present day. So we over the course of the season, we've gotten sort of hints and clues as to when it is, but no idea of how it happens or why.
But viewers are obsessed with how
They're really obsessed with that particular detail.
You know how he died?
Yes. We all had to know. If you think about it, all of the core actors sort of had to know because
they see him later.
Well, because we see him later, but you know, something that fundamentally earth-shattering and life-changing that happened to the kids at some point in their lives is something they're going to carry with them as adults.
What age is he when he dies?
I can't really say. You've seen you've seen the kids now. They're about 16 or 17 when he passed away.
16 or 17.
Yeah, you see that at...
Falling off a ladder. That's unbelievable.
I know.
Boy, she revealed it tonight.
You guys,
tried
it was
to paint
so
his own
tragic.
House, painting his own house.
Yeah.
And she's at fault because she
How
yells
did
to
you
him,
guess
Jack! And he looked around, off.
Fell off the ladder.
And I broke it off.
Yeah.
All right. Our guest is Mandy Moore. We're discussing the ebb and flow of a career in Hollywood and Mandy's return to the recording studio after the break. Stay with us. My guest is Mandy Moore, and she's one of the stars of This Is Us. I understand you went through a tough time before This Is Us.
I did.
You described it as soul-crushing. What happened?
I mean, relatively speaking, as an actor, this is my job. I mean, obviously, we want to find projects that resonate with us and challenge us. And I got married when I was 25, and sort of took a step back from work and wanted to sort of take a break for the first time since I had started working and nest and have like a real life outside of the spotlight. And I found it unbelievably difficult to sort of start the machine back up again. And I had failed project after failed project and nothing coming to fruition until This Is Us.
Did you think of quitting?
I did. I sort of became convinced that maybe I should concentrate on music again, maybe my time had come and gone. Maybe I, should go back to school. I didn't know what I would study, but it definitely had me thinking, like, maybe this is the universe telling me it's not for me anymore.
And was the marriage ending crushing?
The marriage ending was unexpected and very crushing.
No children?
No children. But that definitely added to
You were celebrity young, right?
I was.
What age?
15.
Good or bad that happened? You
mean,
don't know, but...
I've had a tremendous experience. I mean,
What made you famous as a teenager? A song?
I started out in music, yeah. I signed a record deal when I was 15.
Did you have a hit?
I did. Well, a quasi-hit.
What was it?
It was called Candy. And that sort of started everything for me. I signed a deal with MTV to be an MTV VJ when MTV still played music videos. I then sort of segued into films and had a small part in a film called The Princess Diaries, a Gary Marshall movie. And then A Walk to Remember. Oh, the best. So life definitely took a turn, an unexpected turn. At 15, I was singing the national anthem in Orlando, Florida, where I grew up. And these two men who were like local songwriters at a studio heard me sing and approached me afterwards and said, have you ever had any desire to go in a studio and record original songs and be a recording artist? And I just thought, not really. Like, I want to be on Broadway. That was the biggest goal I sort of had. But I loved Bette Midler. And if I could have emulated anybody, even now, I wanted to be on Broadway and maybe do movies and perhaps make records, but hadn't really thought that far ahead at 15.
Wow. Did you go see Hello, Dolly?
I haven't yet. I'm dying to.
You said that in 2015 you were working on new music, yet to release another album. Are you?
I have been slowly but surely writing. It's, I feel unbelievably creatively fulfilled with This Is Us, and it certainly takes like a huge part of my time.
Still want to be on Broadway?
I do. I want to be on Broadway, and I do want to make more music. I think maybe in the next year or so I'll find my way back to the studio.
Do you like writing?
I do. I love songwriting. I love writing lyrics. I haven't stopped doing that, even though I haven't made a record in 8 years, 9 years.
Are you a writer who performs or a performer who writes?
I think I'm a performer who writes. I would not consider myself to be a writer first and foremost.
But you like acting must be foremost now because...
Yes. I mean, if somebody told me I had to make the choice between music and acting, I'd find it really difficult. And the great thing about This Is Us is my character, her backstory is involved in music, so I get to sing on the show as well. It's great. It's the best of both worlds.
We'll be right back with Mandy Moore. Stay with us. Back with Mandy Moore. One thing I can tell you, you will learn how Jack died in the first episode.
Of season 2.
Of season 2.
That's what we've been told.
First episode of season 2. Focus on the ladder. It'll be in the background. 47 meters down.
Yes.
What is that?
It is an underwater thriller. The movie takes place 95% underwater.
When did you shoot it?
2 years ago. Before This Is Us.
You shot it underwater?
Yes, we shot it in a tank in London and a tank in the Dominican Republic. I know.
It's
Crazy.
a horror movie.
It's a thriller. It's an underwater survival tale.
What happens? You and...
Myself and my sister, played by Claire Holt, decide to go cage diving in a moment of spontaneity, like diving with sharks on a vacation in Mexico, and the cage breaks free from the bottom of the boat and falls 150 feet down to the bottom of the ocean. So it's sort of a race against the clock to make it back up.
The two of you and a shark?
Well, we're in shark-infested waters, but what I find far more compelling and scarier is the prospect of drowning. They only have an hour's worth of air. So they have to find their way out of the cage and back up to the surface without getting the bends, without getting attacked by a shark, and with enough air.
Is there danger in filming?
There wasn't too much danger because we were shooting in a tank, so we were only 20 feet underwater, but nobody had ever made a movie like this before, that many days consecutively underwater, so no one really knew the repercussions of what was going to happen to us as actors. Like if we needed to, like with all of the equalizing, and you're still, that's 8 hours a day for about 7 weeks is a long time.
Have you seen the finished product?
I have. It's pretty scary. And even, we knew what was coming, but we still jumped a few times.
How did you handle being underwater all that time? Are you a good swimmer?
We're pretty decent swimmers, but we didn't really have any dive training, which was the craziest part. We did a tiny bit of like training in a pool, and then we went and did 2 open ocean dives the next day, and that was it. Then they're like, "You're ready. You're ready to go stay underwater for 8 weeks."
Speaking in this movie, it can't.
It's all there's. Claire and I both are wearing full face masks, so we're not with the regular regulators and just snorkels.
So you can talk.
So we can speak. Yes. But only she and I could communicate with each other. None of the crew had those same masks. They had the regular regulators, so we sort of had to develop almost like a sign language with them.
Who else is in it? Just the 2 of you?
Matthew Modine plays the captain of the boat.
Oh, I love Matthew.
Oh, he's the best. But we were only with him for a week because, like I said, most of it was underwater.
Okay, we play a little game of If You Only Knew. The movie is 47 meters down.
Yes, sir.
Childhood celebrity crush.
Joey McIntyre, New Kids on the Block. Yeah, I had his Barbie doll and everything. And then I met him years later and told him I had a huge crush on him, and he seemed a little bit freaked out by that.
Secret talent.
I don't really have any secret talents.
Strangest fan encounter.
I think it's strange whenever somebody finds your address and sends you, like...
Yeah, how did they get the...
I don't know.
I get a lot of...
I just moved. I haven't even moved into my house yet, and I had a stack of mail from some fan in Italy.
There must be some place that...
The internet. I can find everything on the internet now.
What's your guilty pleasure?
I don't really have a guilty pleasure. I'm terrible with these questions.
Mandy, you're normal.
I'm normal.
Who would you trade places with for a day?
I would trade places with Michelle Obama when she was the First Lady. I have so much admiration for her. But I mean, I just would love to see what a day in her life was like.
Great lady, I suppose.
Oh, I bet.
What's your chosen vice?
Is coffee a vice?
You know.
Okay. It's not a vice, or it is?
No, it is.
Okay,
Great.
it's a vice.
Something you wish you were better at.
Dancing.
Best advice you've ever gotten?
My dad always told me, when in doubt, don't. And I listened to that.
Worst advice you've ever gotten?
I don't think I've ever gotten any bad advice.
Something people get wrong about you?
You know what? I don't really feel misunderstood. I feel like I've always sort of presented myself as accurately as possible, and I feel like people have a pretty accurate sense of who I am. I don't know.
What do you think we should be paying more attention to?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I don't know. So much.
You afraid to say it?
I'm not afraid to say it. I just don't want to open a whole...
attack you?
No, a whole can of worms, and I can't even speak eloquently. But I mean, I think we definitely need to be paying attention to climate change more. I think we need to have more of an open dialogue about that.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Something you long believed to be true and then realized wasn't.
The old adage, nice guys finish last. I used to believe that was true, but now I don't.
Leo DeRocha, the baseball manager, was the first one to ever say that.
Really?
Yeah, they said, how about him? He's a nice guy, and nice guys finish last. Tell me something people don't know about you.
That people don't know about me? I feel like...
A secret, Mandy.
A secret. Just a secret to you and the entire internet. Gosh, I'm terrible at this. I feel like people know. I'm a pretty open book.
I tell you what they don't know about you.
What?
How Jack died.
Well, now they do. The ladder. The damn ladder.
We're talking about politics in our final segment with Mandy Moore, but I don't think she'll answer. She'll answer some of your social media questions. We'll be right back. We're back with Mandy Moore, season 2 coming of her hit show about Jack.
All about
and
Jack.
Her and the children. And
yeah.
It's involved.
It is involved.
And the forthcoming movie, too.
47 meters down.
Oh, that's out now.
It's out now if people want to see it.
Before we get to some social media questions, some politics, you tweeted your support for Senator Kamala Harris recently.
Yes. I'm a big fan of hers. I voted for her.
You think she should be president?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like it's a little early for that chatter. It's a little early. Let her have her, term in the Senate.
Does it mean you are not a fan of our president?
Oh, that's another loaded question. No, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Well, you're into climate change.
I'm into climate change and facts, yes. I'm not a fan.
Are you therefore pessimistic?
I'm not pessimistic because I feel like a good segment of the population, especially young people, have really been activated and were engaged in a way that maybe we wouldn't have been had the election gone another way. So I feel very hopeful.
You grew up in Orlando, huh?
I did.
What'd your dad do?
He's an airline pilot for American Airlines.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you get to fly.
I get to fly. I did when I was a kid. Now, it's a little hard to have to fly standby.
What route does he fly a lot?
He flies out of LA now, and he flies Tokyo and Sydney and London. Those are his big flights.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big planes.
Big planes.
Have you flown with him?
I haven't. Never,
You've never
ever,
been on
ever.
a plane with you?
No, but one day. Because when we were growing up, he flew a lot to like South and Latin America, and we were in school, and it wasn't really like vacation destinations for us, so one day I'll fly with him.
You ever worry about him?
No, never. He's the best at what he does.
Some social media questions. Jade Walker tweets, your character's daughter struggles with body issues, bullying. How have you handled such issues in beauty-obsessed Hollywood?
That's a very good question. You know, I honestly have never felt pressure to be anybody other than myself. No one's ever told me I needed to lose weight or I needed to look a certain way or dress a certain way. And
Well,
maybe,
why would they tell you? You look perfect.
well, you're very kind. I think I'm outside the norm of what the typical like Hollywood sort of body standard is, but no one's ever told me otherwise, and I'm comfortable in my skin, and so my experience has always been overwhelmingly positive, I guess.
Bryson Knox, what was your favorite memory while working on A Walk to Remember?
That was a movie I made when I was 16. It was my first leading role. Everything about that film was so special.
Who was in it?
Shane West. He played the male lead opposite me. And it's a movie, we just celebrated like the 15th anniversary of its release, but it's a movie that continues to like live on in the zeitgeist, and younger generations have discovered it and loved it, and we had no idea it would have that sort of impact when we were making it.
Molly Cutie, do you miss singing?
I do miss singing, but I get to do it on This Is Us, so at least it's, that part of my life feels satiated by the show.
Match Game 67 asks, which of your movies was your favorite to work on?
That's a good question. Probably a tie between this little indie movie called Saved, because it had a lot of young people and it was really acerbic and sarcastic and fun and funny. And then I did this sort of romantic comedy with Diane Keaton called Because I Said So, and I love Diane Keaton so much.
She's great.
She's the best, so that was great.
Ricardo O'Darren, what is the most attractive thing you find in a man?
Confidence and honesty.
Terry Francona is the manager. Why? He's the manager of Cleveland Indians.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know many other Terry Franconas.
Maybe it's another Terry.
Yeah. And he asks, are you now a Steelers fan? Because This Is Us takes place in Pittsburgh.
Well, then maybe it is him. We are Steelers fans. We've all sort of become Steelers fans. I didn't grow up in like a sports household.
But you said you shoot in L.A.
We shoot in Los Angeles, but the show takes place in Pittsburgh, and the family are huge Steelers fans, and we've had a couple of episodes where the Steelers have factored in. So Milo and I went and announced the 4th-round draft pick recently in Pittsburgh. It was
really?
So much fun. Yeah.
Do you know why they settled on making it Pittsburgh?
Because our creator grew up there. So he has very fond memories of Pittsburgh. And it's a lovely town. I'd never been before. I love it.
Oh, it's a lovely town.
Oh, it's gorgeous,
used to be
too.
terrible, you know, smoke.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So, Mandy, what's next? You got This Is Us.
Going
you got
back
a
to
happy
work.
boyfriend.
Happy boyfriend,
You got
happy
the movie,
personal life.
The movie out, you're diving in the tank.
Yeah. Life is good. I have no complaints. We go back to work in about a month, so I'm ready to sort of dive back in. Yeah.
You've seen the scripts already?
Not yet. Hopefully this week. I've been told that we'll go over and sort of get a
But you
general
know
idea.
Jack dies early.
We do. We've been told that will be addressed in the first episode, but we don't really know what happens throughout the course of the season. So I'm anxious to find out some of the plot points and storylines.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're a doll.
Thanks.
Thanks to my guest, Mandy Moore. The entire first season of This Is Us is available on NBC.com, and 47 Meters Down is in theaters now. And as always, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things, and I'll see you next time.